Subscribe to our channel for latest updates on leadership interviews, webinars and educative videos related to human resources, learning and development, culture, employee engagement, and many more.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 15th episode of Point of View, a series of leadership discussions by amazing workplaces. In this series, I'm getting into a discussion with people in leadership positions from various organizations spread across India as well as across borders. The idea is to get into conversation with them, to get them to share their views about the various aspects that make organizations really amazing. The purpose is to understand what drives leaders to their own workplaces so that we can delve deeper into the corporate philosophy and share with you path breaking ideas. Ideas that come straight from people who have gone ahead and changed their workplace to make them better, more inviting, and extremely thriving for their own people. In times when an average person spends hardly 3 to 4 years in an organization, our guest on the show today is someone who sets an example of commitment, learning, and growth by spending almost 2 decades at Genpact. He has had a diverse experience at Genpact in various roles in the past 20 years, spanning from that of a business leader, global business development, global recruitment, sales and marketing, etc., to now leading operations and P&L globally for the banking and capital markets vertical. Let me present to you Puneet Singh, Chief Operating Officer, Banking and Capital Markets at Genpact. Puneet has a bachelor's degree in software engineering from the University of Melbourne, Australia. Welcome, Puneet. I'm really so thankful for you to accepting our invitation and being on the show today.
Thanks, Ekta, for inviting me. I'm really happy to be here.
I'm really delighted. I'm looking forward to our conversation today. Okay, so Puneet, my first question to you. In today's times, job hopping is a common phenomena which can happen due to a multiple reasons like bad bosses, lack of opportunities for advancement, toxic culture, etc. However, you've spent almost 20 decades at Genpact. Well, if you were asked to look back at your career and make a choice between a long job tenure with ample learning opportunities versus changing jobs on the go for quick growth, what would you pick and why?
So I think I have kind of strong views on this subject, and the two answers that I want to respond with. One is, I think I've always sought learning. For me, it has always been I need to learn and acquire new skills every year, and Genpact has given me that platform for last 20 years, where I every year learn something new, do something new, and it's representative in some of the roles that I've done, which is a little bit of outlier in the industry because I've done maybe 10 roles in 20 years. They're driven mostly by two things: my urge to learn new things, and leadership's belief in my skills and confidence that I can take up new assignments, challenging roles, and do it with the same execution and same quality. So those reasons is why I think I've done 20 years in Genpact and still going strong. The other answer is, which I think is more tactical but true. People think that you will get quick growth by quick changes. It's actually not true. If you extrapolate somebody's career who's been with the same company for 20 years and growing and doing roles, different roles, and even if that person is a decent performer, I'm not saying you have to be a top hitter performer, but even a decent performer, you will extrapolate, and if you extrapolate that with some of the other people who have changed 7, 8, 10 jobs in 20 years, there'll be majority of data points that will show that the former category is not only doing bigger, better things, they're also maybe making generating more wealth, because that's what people go after. So I think it's very clear that at least in our industry, where longevity really pays in terms of both skill sets and your own personal growth and monetary wealth, there is no reason why somebody shouldn't be going on that path.
Okay. Thank you. So you are basically a crusader of sticking at a single organization and investing in your learning and growth and taking your career forward like that, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. So, tell me one thing, Puneet. In 2008, you were vice president, global recruitment, wherein you led the global recruitment team of 200 employees and set up the platform to hire 15,000 employees annually. You have also
Correct.
managed large teams across various functions in your tenure. In fact, your current role description shows that you manage 25,000 employees globally. What are the key factors of people management, especially in organizations that enjoy a global presence?
Yeah, so I think I mean, this is an aspect that is very important, especially in our industry, because in our industry, the resources are people, and it's employees who actually generate the final output for the clients.
Sure.
So they are the left, center, and right of the whole thing we do. We need to, as leaders, be completely, get rid of all biases you might have, whether they are cultural, whether they are ethnic, whether they are, diversity. I think that's the first thing. I think that you have to be very highly inclusive, and you have to be very flexible and be very humble about different culture nuances. There are certain things that are acceptable or unacceptable in various cultures and societies. I think one has to be aware of those when you talk to such diverse profile of employees, and also flexibility in terms of time. Like in my role, I have customers and employees all over the world, and I really can't behave in a manner that I'm going to work this window and let's all try to push ourselves in this window, because it's not possible. So I'm more flexible in terms of I spend some hours in the early morning with the Australia type teams. I spend late hours in the night with the US team and try to do my balancing act in the middle of the day. So I think to summarize, you have to be inclusive, you have to be flexible, and you have to be very aware of the cultural and nuances across the world, so that everybody feels like a one team, basically.
Right. Okay, thank you. Thanks, Puneet. Thanks for answering that one, and it was very well answered by you. So, coming to our third question, Puneet, what according to you are the key attributes that need to be developed to help accelerate career growth in a post-COVID world? So, right now, COVID is the hot topic of discussion. But as things open up, what do you feel are the key things that need to be taken in consideration by businesses all across the world to ensure that growth happens consistently and we are able to tackle the any future situations in the best manner? Yeah.
So, for me, the fundamentals of leadership remain the same. I think COVID's just given one opportunity to everybody in the world to quickly adopt those leadership styles if you did not have, because people were not left with any other choice. And what I mean by that is those leadership skills are actually, in the first and most important one for me is constant innovation. You have to constantly be innovating whatever you do, whether it's things you deliver for the clients, whether it's the way you operate with your employees and your teams, or it's the way you adopt new technologies and new ways of working.
Right.
It's a constant process. It always was, a center stone for Genpact. It will be always. COVID just, I think, accelerated that a little bit for most of the other companies who are not believing like that. So that's really, the number one kind of a thing. The number two is, challenge status quo. We always say that, don't be comfortable in what you are right now, because then that you will not perform or give the right value to the customer. So keep challenging status quo. And I think thirdly, adopt disruption. I mean, be disruptive. A lot of the things that we do actually will disrupt the way we work right now. It might personally disrupt your lifestyle. It might even disrupt the revenue stream for the company, because if you're trying to adopt too much technology, which means you will, automate a lot of things and make it more productive. But be ready for disruption, because if you do that, then you are differentiating yourself with your competitor set, and the clients will see that these guys are agile, they are disruptive, and they challenge the status quo, and they're the right partners who constantly innovate.
Right. Thank you so much. Status quo actually reminds me of Steve Jobs. Yeah. So, okay. So now coming to the founder of GE, Jack Welch, he was known for his relentless focus on people, teamwork, and profits. His be the best style of management became the gold standard in business, and his book, How to Win in Business and in Life, in his book, he describes how business and careers was all about relationships rather than domain expertise. Would you like to share your thoughts on this?
So, I actually, one of the reasons why I kind of took like, fish takes to water in G or Genpact is I think a lot of the belief system is similar to my own belief system, whether it's about, process improvement or constant learning, or on this one, relationships. I think business gets transacted in the world through relationships. I truly believe in it. In fact, most of my roles have been in sales and, merger acquisitions, and even in operations. I tell my team that you have to build a relationship with the client, because if you build a good relationship, then not only will you understand the requirements fully and service them to full perfection, you will get good feedback as well. And it will just keep going from strength to strength, and we will increase more business because the customer likes us. Same thing in a sales scenario. If you understand the customer personally and have a good relationship with them, they will give you more business, they will give you more insights, they will help you, do better at your job. It's the same thing if you have in life with relationship, whether it is your tennis partner, whether she's your spouse, whether they're your kids. I think at the end of the day, and it's so much more important in the virtual world we are living in. It's very easy to get back to our chat platforms and online tools. Even when there's an opportunity to interact with people, meeting them, and in chat calling them and stuff like that, it's very important, and that personalization should not stop ever. And I think it's very critical. So I completely agree with that school of thought.
Okay. Thank you, Puneet. I think that was a very short and wonderful description that you gave. Yes, definitely, business and life cannot move ahead without relationships. And whatever we say, how much we enter into processes and domain expertise, at the end of the day, it is relationships that make anything work in this on this planet per se, right? Thank you so much, Puneet. It was wonderful speaking to you today. And I'm so glad that you could make it to the platform. Thank you so much.
Sure. Thanks for your time. Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Thank you so much. Bye.
Subscribe to our channel for latest updates on leadership interviews, webinars and educative videos related to human resources, learning and development, culture, employee engagement, and many more.